Morning glory, America. Bonjour, hi, Canada. I'm Hugh Hewitt inside of the Beltway studio. It is election day, finally, and I hope you vote, vote, vote. 158 million Americans voted in our 2020 presidential election. 78 million Americans have already voted in this election, including yours truly. But I want you to get up and get out and vote. The weather map is bad in the middle of the country. It's raining and some thunderstorms are expected, so better to vote early than late. The folks up in Montana, where Tim Sheehy needs to win that United States Senate seat, they got to deal with some snow. So you don't have a bad day compared to other people. Get up and vote. Now, I want to emphasize, and I did in my Fox News column this morning, that you can register and vote on the same day, even if you've never registered before, if you have identification, proof of ID, and residence in the state where you're living. And that includes Virginia, which is possibly a swing state, and New Hampshire, which is possibly a swing state. North Carolina is same-day registration and voting. Michigan and Wisconsin have long allowed for same-day registration and voting. New Mexico, Nevada, Montana. There is a map, in fact, at the National Association of State Legislatures, nsl.org, of the 31 states that allow people who've never voted in their life. If you're an American citizen and you're 18, you can vote today in 31 states. Not Pennsylvania, not Ohio, not Indiana. There are a lot of places like, I believe Maryland allows same-day registration voting, and yes, indeed, it does. So here are the Senate seats we're watching. By the way, headline, Dixville Notch went 3-3 for Donald Trump, 3 for Kamala Harris. 4 years ago, there were only 5 residents in Dixville Notch, New Hampshire, which always votes at midnight. They voted 5-0 for Joe Biden in a harbinger of what was going to come. But a 3-3 split is what we've got. This could be a one-vote election. If it is, Joe Rogan decided it for Donald Trump by voting for Donald Trump. He endorsed Donald Trump. He'll vote for Donald Trump. Kamala Harris has no qualifications to be president. She is a danger to the republic because she is simply lacking in the minimum skill set to defend our men and women who are in harm's way today. That's my takeaway for you. We've got to protect people in the military. Donald Trump knows how to bring peace to the Middle East, how to stand up the military again, how to rebuild it, restore it, restock it, resupply it. And the vice president does not. Minimum skill set also involves being able to sit down and answer questions with everyone any day on any subject. She won't take any questions and hasn't. She did one serious interview and came late and left early with Brett Baier because she doesn't know enough to be president. It's dangerous if she wins. I've got nothing against her. She might be a perfectly nice person. I've never met her. But I lived in California until 2016. She came out of the Democrat-run Bay Area left-wing machine that includes Berkeley, San Francisco, and the Silicon Valley. She is a hard left Bay Area Democratic, I would say, left-wing radical. And that's what you'll get. And it will be the system that backs her if she wins. Donald Trump is a known, if mercurial, personality who has done the job before and will bring in 3,000 people with him. That's my pitch. You're not just electing a president, you're electing the 3,000 people they bring with them. I cannot imagine wanting 4 more years of the chaos that we've had at the border, the absolute funk the economy is in. Please get out and vote. While you are at it, Joe Rogan is an interesting thing. Joe Rogan's main demographic, young men turn out. If you're 18 and older, vote. I've missed one election since 1974 when I could first vote. And that's because I was called to be an observer, a captain of an election observation team in Yahoo City, Mississippi in 1986 on the night before. And I hadn't registered an absentee. I expected to be in Virginia in 1986 when I was running the Office of Personnel Management's General Counsel's office. And I had to go to Mississippi. So I didn't get to vote. It took in those days a long time to get an absentee ballot. But I regret not voting in 1986, and I haven't missed it. I voted 2 weeks ago to make sure anything came up. Grandchild needed taken care of. I was ill. Dwayne showed up for work and I was stunned. Anything showed up at all, I would be ready to vote. So I want you to get out and vote. Let's run down the Senate scorecard already. I've told you why you should vote for Donald Trump. We are going to win West Virginia. Governor Justice will be Senator Justice-elect Justice by the end of the night. I think Tim Sheehy's going to walk away in Montana. People know John Tester is a lefty, and they are tired of being represented by a guy who shows up every 6 years and pretends to be a Montana representative. He's not. Captured by the Beltway. Tim Sheehy, SEAL, warrior, businessman, wonderful guy. We want Larry Hogan to win in Maryland. I love Larry. He's a Ravens fan, but he's still been a great governor. He deserves your vote, Marylanders. We want Hung Kao to win in Virginia. It's a reach. It's a reach, but it's possible if you get out and vote. And remember, you don't have to have registered before in Virginia. You can show up with identification, proof of residency. If someone tells you to go away, don't go away. Demand a provisional ballot. Fill it out carefully, legibly. File your ballot. If someone tells you to go home tonight and you're in line before voting deadline, you stay in line, stay in line, stay in line. Do not listen to the exit polls. Dwayne reminded me before the show began. We were doing this show live in 2004. The exit polls were dirty. They were depressing voter turnout. Do not even look for them. Pay no attention to them. They cannot get it right. They don't know how to do it. If you're in New Mexico, Nella Domenici deserves your vote. Now, those are all reaches. Larry Hogan, Hung Kao, Nella Domenici, Larry more closely than the other two, but they could win in a 1980-style sweep. 1980-style sweep, no one saw it coming. And the sudden shift. I mean, Megyn Kelly showed up with Donald Trump last night. I'll play you that clip today. Megyn Kelly showed up with Donald Trump. Yesterday, Jimmy Brown's daughter and the son of Roberto Clemente showed up in Pittsburgh for Donald Trump. This could be an amazing day. There are a lot of great Senate candidates. Dave McCormick deserves your vote in Pennsylvania. Please drive through the rain in Pittsburgh and vote for Dave McCormick. West Point, successful businessman, son of the Yinzerland, great guy. Bernie Moreno, legal migrant to the United States from Colombia. Bernie Moreno deserves your vote. Great businessman, super candidate. Mike Rogers in Michigan. Lead story today, if I were not doing the election, would be the fact that a cargo plane and a passenger plane had devices put on them designed to explode them en route or when they landed over the air in America and Canada. We need an FBI agent, former head of the House Intel Committee in Michigan. Get out there and vote for him. They think it's Russians, by the way. I found that in news items by John Ellis, which is, I'm getting down to only reading news items now. I no longer trust the legacy media. We need Eric Hovde in Wisconsin. And if you are moved to vote right now, get out there and vote for Eric Hovde, Donald Trump. Don't forget Derek Van Orden. Derek Van Orden is the SEAL who's been just wonderfully representative of Wisconsin for the last couple of years. Carrie Lake deserves your vote. She got a lead in Arizona, thanks to the work of Charlie Kirk and many others in the desert state. Carrie Lake has got a lead, but you got to close the deal. Sam Brown is the most deserving of every Senate candidate I've seen. West Point graduate, threw his body into the fight and is badly, grievously wounded in the long wars, but he's still in the fight. He's come back. Sam Brown deserves your vote, Nevada. Hung Kao deserves your vote, Virginia. These are veterans. These are Mike Rogers, by the way, also a veteran. I think of him as an FBI agent before all of that. I want to tell you that the most important thing when you're deciding whether to get up or not is, does your vote matter? Yes. This could be a one-vote election in many congressional districts. It could be a one-vote election in a state. I don't want to repeat of Florida 2000, where George W. Bush won the presidency by under 500 votes. In a conclusion confirmed by every independent study that's been done of the voting analysis since then. But we don't want close margins. We want a swamp the vote day. Election integrity is standing by. RNC Chairman Michael Whatley will be joining me later in the program to talk about that. Dr. Larry Arnn will be along from Hillsdale College later to talk about the duty of a citizen to vote. But it might be inconvenient. But please, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, get up and vote. Want to beat the 158 million mark. That was 60-some% 4 years ago. We ought to get to 70 and 75%. This is a consequential election, and your vote does indeed matter. So please get out and vote today. 78 million people have already voted. We should get that many or more today because some people like to wait. Some people are traditionalists. Some people need a lift. You might have to go babysit the kids. Do whatever you have to do. Help your neighbor out. Offer to pick up the groceries. Offer to drive them to the polls. But get out and vote. If they say I'm not registered, check the map. You can vote today.